What is up, guys? Team Yugi Feels here with another deck profile, and today we're going over something that, in my opinion, is super fun to play. I love playing this deck. So this is my Nekroz Shaddoll variation. It has changed since the last time I posted it. I think that this deck has competitive viability, but I don't think it's like one of the best decks of the format. Like I would put it as like a rogue contender, because it's not excessively strong against most of the meta, but as I said, it can definitely combo off and it can play. The one downside to the deck too is that it's really hard to like find space because you're playing so many different engines in here. It just makes it difficult for side decking. It makes it difficult for main decking certain cards that you want to main deck. So basically what I tell everyone for, this particular deck, from basically the last month or two to now, and I'll keep telling people this, is that, I'm not going to post a side deck for this deck because it's really just preference and what you think is going to work against the meta. Specifically for this deck, like other decks, I'll show off what I'm doing for a side deck, but this one I won't. And the other issue is that this deck is like never 40 cards in the main deck. It's always over 40. I think I'm at like 43 right now. But I like to stay with Shaddoll variations within the 40 to 45 range because it can just play with that. That being said, though, I just wanted to show you guys, before we hop into the deck profile, the sleeves that I'm using for the extra deck. I just bought these. They're OCG sleeves. It's got polymerization design on the back. I think it looks really cool. I got a pack of 55 of them for like 20 bucks. Really cool stuff. I enjoy it. The sleeves just look gorgeous. And the other thing too is I get a lot of people who ask me the same question about what do I use as these sleeves here. So they're clear sleeves and they're a little bit larger than the regular Yu-Gi-Oh sleeves. So you can basically double sleeve your extra deck. Obviously you can only do this at like locals, but these are KMC character guards. So you can find them on eBay. I know a lot of people ask in some of my videos what the extra deck sleeves are. That's what they are. I will not be responding to any more comments about what kind of sleeves are you using because I just told you. And if you keep up with my content, you'll definitely see them. That being said, though, let's hop into the deck profile because I've talked long enough to bore myself. So for the Nekroz cards, we have triple Unicorn. Unicorn just kind of stops everything. It is a Dragoon out too because like once this hits the field, your opponent isn't going to be able to do anything about it because Dragoon isn't going to be able to negate any cards in the field as long as Unicorns face up. So Unicorn definitely worth playing at 3. Then our other 3 of is 3 Brio. It's just your searcher, and it's really good with one of the Nekroz spells, which is Cycle, because you can send your Shaddoll Apokalon from your extra deck to make him, and then Apokalon goes off, which is really good. 2 ofs, I play 2 Colossalus to search for the spells. His other effect as a monster comes up occasionally, but not a lot, so 2 of it is more than enough. Then the 1 ofs, I just play 1 Trish, 1 Valk, and 1 Chariot. I don't think that you need to play multiples, and on top of that, if you are, your space is just literally so constricted. It makes things difficult to play, so I honestly just play 1 of each, and it's perfectly fine playing 1 of each, to be honest. In the Shaddoll lineup, we have 1 Beast, 1 Squamata, 1 Hedge, 1 Dragon, 1 Wendy, and 1 Ariel. I just play 1 of each of these. You don't need multiples for the most part. It just doesn't come up. And like you have other cards that you want to play as an engine that just work phenomenally well with the deck. So I like playing these particular ratios, just 1 of each. I don't think that Falco is necessary. I was testing it, but honestly, I like the Ariel combo more. So I opted to just cut the Falco. Then I play the 1 Trick Clown for the Shaddoll engine too. I think it's just really good. Like you should just play it regardless. Then some searchers. I do play triple Manju. I think that this is the one card that's really interchangeable in the deck. You can swap it out for other stuff, or if you just want to cut it overall, it would put you down to 40. But I think that playing 3 of this is really good because it gets your Nekroz engine going. That way your opponent can be locked out of their board because of your Unicorn. That's pretty sweet. Then I do play the Dogmatika engine, so I have 2 Ecclesia, 1 Flodalis, and 1 Maximus. I really like playing this engine in here. it just gives you access to a bunch of ridiculous combos that like you wouldn't think work, but they do. And like the Maximus is really good to dump stuff because your extra deck is basically disposable in this deck, and the Ecclesia is just your engine starter. Flordelis being a negation is also really nice. But those are all the monsters. Like I said, it's really tight space, so if you want to play hand traps, you'd probably have to play like a 60 card variation because it's not easy to fit hand traps in here, which is why I don't play any. Moving on to the spells though, we have the 3 Dear Servant for the Dogmatika engine. Really good card overall, and like this card just does crazy stuff. So if you're playing the engine with Dogmatika, I think that it's definitely worth playing 3 of those. Then the Shaddoll fusion cards, I play 3 regular and 2 L. I don't like playing 3L. It's not necessary, and you can do your combo. Like, honestly, you could play 1 of this if you wanted to, but I think that playing 2 is better because it just helps you chain to things, which is useful, and using it in battle phase is also nice. Then we have some more ritual stuff here. We have 3 Preparation of Rites. We have 2 Nekroz Kaleidoscope, 1 Nekroz Cycle, and 1 of your other Nekroz, which I can never remember the name, and I have my 4-in-1, so that doesn't really help. But yes, you have your 4 Nekroz spells. You really don't need more than this, to be perfectly honest. It's perfectly fine the way that it is. I like the prep. You can swap them for extra Foolish Burials if you want to in this deck, but I personally like just playing the preps because it recycles, you know, your monsters in grave or your monsters in deck and your spells in grave. I'm sorry, I flipped that around. But those are all the spells. Moving on to the traps, I play 1 Shaddoll Schism and 1 Incarnation, and then I do play 1 Dogmatika Punishment. These are the only traps that I play. They're fairly self-explanatory. I don't think that I have to go through explaining as to the purpose to all of them, other than the fact that your Punishment is going to pop your opponent's cards, your Resh is going to help you combo off, and your Schism is going to help basically lock your opponent out of playing if they like to special summon a lot. But that is the main deck. Like I said, I believe it is 43 cards. We're going to go ahead and hop on over to the extra deck now, which I think the extra deck is pretty standard. I honestly feel that some of the stuff that I'm playing in here gives you the opportunity to go first or second, which is nice. So let's hop right on into it. We have 2 Construct, 2 Winda, and 1 Apocalypse for the Shaddoll fusion monsters. These are fairly standard. I know in my old list, I was playing 1 of the Untitled because of the Nekroz engine. I opted to cut it. The spacing in here with the Dogmatika engine is just super tight as well. But I think that overall, that if you don't want to play the Dogmatika cards, you could absolutely play the Untitled. But for right now, I like playing this particular lineup of 5 cards. Then I do play an Entis and an Ash Dragon for the Dogmatika stuff. These cards are just overall generic with the Dogmatika engine. I thought about playing 2 Entis, but I wanted to swap it out for something else, which we'll get to later in the extra deck. Then I do play 2 Herald and 1 Omega. The Omega is really good just for the recyclability factor, and the Heralds are obviously there just for the search. That shouldn't need much of an explanation. Then for the Xyz monsters, I just play 1 Emerald. I just play this because it's a really good utility card, and because you go through so many resources, you might want to recycle some of them, and it gives you a draw, which is pretty sweet. Then for the Link monsters, 1 Cross Sheep, 1 Masquerena, 1 Unicorn, and 1 Access Code Talker. So the reason that I opted not to play the Untitled was for the IP Masquerena. I'm sorry, the second Entis or Untitled, either one, honestly. They're kind of interchangeable with which you want to play. I opted to play the Masquerena. So the reason being is that just having the Cross Sheep, the Unicorn, and the Access Code Talker helps you go second. If you're going first, then the Masquerena with the Unicorn helps, because then you can just end on the Masquerena with your Shaddoll combo and use the Masquerena to link into a Unicorn on your opponent's turn. But if you're going second, you can just do your Cross Sheep into your Unicorn into your Access Code to basically OTK your opponent. So basically it gives you a bunch of utility. The Masquerena just basically allows going first to be a little more easy for you, and it gives you access to just another interruption on your opponent's turn, which in my opinion is very important with any deck. But that is the extra deck, which basically rounds up the deck profile. Like I said, I'm not going to show off side deck. Some stuff that you guys could play are Lightning Storms. You could play like Drone Lockbirds. You could play Cosmic Cyclones, things like that. If you want to play Kaijus, you could play Kaijus. You have the option, honestly, of playing Sphere Mode, because the deck doesn't normal summon excessively. Like, it's a lot of special summoning. So, like, you have a lot of options that you can go through. So keep that in mind. But that is the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, did, give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And for right now, this is Team Yugi Feels signing out.